Clarice, and I'm not sick anymore. Actually, I'm still kind of recovering, but I'm feeling significantly better than I was last Saturday, so thank you to all of you that were wishing me well. I'm feeling better, just so you know. Anyway, today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book Freakout tag. And this tag was created by Chami and Ellie, I think, and I will link both of their channels down below. And I was tagged by Books with Wings, whose channel I will also link down below. It's not really the middle of the year anymore, but it's still kind of close, and I still really want to do this tag, so I don't care if it's August, I'm gonna do this tag. Best book you've read so far in 2015. There's so many books that I want to mention, though I feel like in like 5 minutes I'm gonna have a different answer. As of right now, the book/series that comes to mind is the Lock and Key series by Joe Hill and Gabriel Rodriguez. It's basically a comic book series, like I said, about this family that has to move into this house called the Key House. And the children there, upon exploring it, discover that there are all these different keys that have all these different powers. It's a really magical and creative story, but it's also an extremely dark story. There's a lot of death and a lot of suspense, and it was so good. Such a good story, such beautiful art, just overall amazing. Best sequel you've read so far in 2015. A Storm of Swords by George R.R. Martin, which is the third book in the Song of Ice and Fire series by George R.R. Martin. I'm actually currently reading the fifth book, but the first and the third books were so good, especially the third book. The third book just got me so emotional. The halfway point onwards in the book is just crazy. So much happens. It's a really good book. New release you haven't read yet but really want to. For me, that would have to be Nimona by Noelle Stevenson. Recently, I've been in this kind of weird graphic novel comic book kick, and this graphic novel in particular came out this year, and I've just been hearing amazing things about it. I only have a vague idea of what it's about. I know we follow a character that wants to be a supervillain or is apprenticing for a supervillain or something like that, and has these cool powers, and the art looks cool and the story sounds amazing, and again, I've heard amazing things and I really want to read it. Most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I think the one that I'm most excited for is Shadows of Self by Brandon Sanderson. It is the second book in this second Mistborn trilogy that he put out, the first being The Ally of Law, which I loved. It's so much fun, it's so funny, and I loved seeing these powers and seeing what Brandon Sanderson does with them in a, well, it's not modern, but a more modern setting where there's technology and things like that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else he does with it in his second book, because I love Mistborn, I love the world, and I love Brandon Sanderson and his writing so much. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. Biggest disappointment. Biggest surprise. Down and Out in the Magic Kingdom by Cory Doctorow. I read this recently for the Booktubeathon as my last book in the Booktubeathon, and it ended up being my favorite book in the Booktubeathon. And the reason it surprised me is because, one, I actually didn't know anything about this at all. I just, on a whim, decided to read it. And two, because it's a free book. You know, for the most part, free books, unless they're classics, you don't really expect much going into them. And so I didn't expect much going into this. And as I said in my review, which I will link down below, I don't think it's a book for everyone, and I feel like half the people that read it might hate it. But I personally loved it. The world was just so cool, and it really got me thinking. And I don't care if the character isn't likable, I just so fascinated by this book that I couldn't not love it. Favorite new author? This is the hardest question. Some of you may be surprised by this answer. You've seen some of my thoughts on these books and things. Chuck Palahniuk. What Chuck Palahniuk is consistent about, at least for me, is his writing. I've always loved his writing, even if I wasn't crazy about some other parts of his books. I like his humor, and arguably Chuck Palahniuk is probably one of the most quotable authors out there. And it's because I love his writing so much that even when I wasn't super impressed with them, I still want to read another book. And even when I liked Diary even less than that, I still want to read more of his books. And I read Lullaby and I loved it, and I still really, really want to read more of his books. That makes sense. I hope I'm making sense. Chuck Palahniuk. Newest fictional crush. I don't have fictional crushes, so I'm going to skip this question. Newest favorite character. Mark Watney from The Martian. If you heard me talk about this book at all, you probably know how much I love Mark Watney as a character. He's so smart, but he's also probably one of the funniest characters I've ever read from. Possibly the funniest character. Book that made you cry. One book that really did make me tear up and it really surprised me by how emotionally attached to it I became by the end of it was The Sculptor by Scott McCloud. I had some problems with this book at the start, but by the end of it, this book just made me so emotional that I had to give it 5 stars in Goodreads. Book that made you happy. When you love books, it's really hard to answer questions like these with just one book. But the book I ultimately decided to go with is Off to Be the Wizard by Scott Meyer. Actually, his whole Magic 2.0 series in general. It's basically the series about a guy named Martin who discovers this file, and after tinkering with this file a bit, he realizes and discovers that this file actually contains the entire universe, and by manipulating it, he's able to do things to make his life easier, you know, like get money, and eventually he gets caught and has to go back to medieval times and pose as a wizard. It makes me happy because 1, it's just such a fun series, 2, it's really funny, and 3, it's just one of those books that just feels good for my geeky, nerdy soul. Favorite book to film adaptation I saw this year? Not a lot of book to film adaptations come to mind, so maybe I'll say Age of Ultron and The Winter Soldier. Those were books. Favorite video you have done so far this year? I think in general I'm just going to have to say my Booktube-a-thon videos, not because of the videos themselves, but just because of the experience that went to it, and just the experience of meeting all these new people and reading a lot in Booktube-a-thon and participating in challenges and vlogging every single day, which is not something I normally do. So I love those videos because of the memories and experiences that I associate with them. Most beautiful book you bought so far this year? The Ultimate Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. This is the hardbound edition, and do I even need to explain? It's silver on the sides and it has a ribbon bookmark and it says "Don't Panic" in the back. It's the most beautiful book on my shelf right now. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? A lot of books. Well, first of all, the book that I'm currently reading, A Dance with Dragons by George R.R. Martin, because I need to finish the series. And also, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson, Words of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, and just as much Brandon Sanderson as I can possibly read. And I definitely need to read the 5th and final Why the Last Man book by Brian K. Vaughan. So yeah, those are a few of the books that I need to finish by the end of the year. So that was the mid-year book Freakout tag. I'm still not sure how I'm gonna tag because I didn't think this through yet as usual, so I will just leave your names on the screen. You see your name on the screen right now or in the description below. I'm tagging you, and I hope you do this tag before it's already October and it's way too late for it to be the mid-year book Freakout tag. So anyway, please like this video if you liked it and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!